game number 2.
Battlefield of Eternity. Something that Kong has talked a lot about in his previous interviews, even hailing back to the era when he was on Mighty. He always had a bag of builds, so to speak. He always had a lot of good ideas, a lot of niche ideas for what could be picked, what could work out in Battlefield of Eternity, and I don't know if RR is a team that's flexible enough to carry out all his mad scientist dreams out, but let's see, he might have a few surprises planned in the draft for us.
Let's see, I know that for a fact RR has been practicing a ridiculous amount of time for this match especially, and that's exactly what HGC said on her stream tonight, this morning. So, and there's a Martyr ban.
Pretty standard, I would say. RR.
Pretty standard for Hero League, but not so much in HGC Korea, especially not as a first ban material though.
But Raven has always been one of the teams that respects Maltheo the most, and RR has been practicing some amount of Maltheo too, although a lot of it was on Metal Slug, so I'm not exactly sure who would have been the new Maltheo player for RR, but we'll have to see. And RR may decide to go with the first ban Ariel again, so we are trying to figure it out at this moment, but it seems like RR are subscribing to the prevalent theory that it's never worth it, really, to give away Ariel to the opposing team.
Yeah, even when Chom actually prefers Uther. Because Raven still can bring out lots of DPS comps like Lunara, that was also an option, so building on those constant hope with the auto-attack DPS will be a very painful thing when you have to fight on the field. When you're going for the Immortal too, just taking out Ariel actually sort of takes out Lunara and Vala at the same time. Of course, if Vala goes Q, you don't really need Ariel with the Vala too much, but still, there's the Uther pick.
This is so Raven, isn't it?
Exactly, but if for now they have Uther, and once it comes around, yesterday for the entire day, they have been picking double DPS, picking tanks at the very end. Maybe it's just the way that they decided to go with it because they do not want to lose any damage before the ban phase happens.
Anyway, so Uther, always a solid first pick for Raven, especially. Chom has always performed well on it. RR, very predictably take away the Genji, but taking Tyrael at this moment in the rotation, pretty interesting. And I'm not sure if this signals something specific or it just speaks to Decalook's current warrior pool, because we haven't seen Tyrael picked this early in the rotation, especially when there is no warrior choke so early, but it has happened. So perhaps Decalook not so happy about his last Stitches game, so maybe he has these two warriors practice the most and they want to secure the Tyrael before the warrior choke begins to take place.
Yeah, that's right, because Raven, oftentimes, as I mentioned, they go towards, but Illidan actually taken before.
Raven pulling out the Illidan on their own, so generally I would be a fan of it, but who on Raven is going to pilot this Illidan? Probably Hamelin, right? Have we seen Hamelin play a lot of Illidan? We have not, so it's going to be interesting how well he does on the champion, the hero, but...
Oh, you said it again! It's okay! God. But Liming, I like it because NMX...
I love Heroes of the Storm, okay?
We all know, yes.
Yes, we all know.
I know you're a busy man. And Illidan with Liming, that's the thing. And the Max has been super solid on Liming. We saw in phase number 1, the
Probably
entire phase number 1.
Hero, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that, and I remember that's in my brand. And when I say NMX, it's Liming. It's like SDE when he used to play lots of Liming. And with his best hero on there with Illidan. I'm sure RR will be looking for that Arthas to counter and maybe even bringing... Tyrael, of course, has a spell damage, spell armor built onto him, so I think it's a very good counter already against Liming.
So I would definitely love to see the Arthas come out here. Arthas would not be too bad of a pick for Raven as well, so it would be making perfect sense. We see Rhaegar picked up for MSG again, and we didn't get to have to talk about the bans on, the second bans on both sides, but RR is taking out the Abathur. I feel this is somewhat interesting because usually it has been NMX that played the Abathur, and it's going to be NMX playing the Li Ming. So I'm not exactly sure if Raven would have went for the Abathur anyway. So I feel that in a way it's a wasted ban, especially.
I think it's next level PM. They watched the last game of yesterday and then says, Abathur did not belong into that pick. You needed the support.
That could very well be the case, and the Greymane ban coming out from Raven was pretty decent as well. Too standard, I would say, for my liking, but sometimes that's how team wants to approach the draft. And this Dehaka pickup, not entirely sure if I agree with it, but they have been having a lot of fun with them staying ahead in the globals in the last game. So I think it might be feasible that they just want to go double global again, out global the opposition team, because Raven has one, but if they take two, they will always stay ahead. So
yeah, this is a two-lane map though, but Tempest made that happen with triple global against stronger teams. So maybe they will bring in a lot more, but here's without the counters though. That's only if you can get those drag onto Illidan every single time, but if you cannot, Illidan will be free doing so much damage onto your back line.
I guess you could land the isolation as well. That would be pretty sick.
That would be pretty sick too.
But as we said, Arthas would not have looked out of place on Raven's composition, and they indeed do pick it up. So RRR will have to justify their picking Dehaka instead of Arthas, and let's see how that pans out. And I'm pretty sure that RR were thinking of a last pick Falstad in the draft here, but after seeing those two warriors picked up, maybe they want to have a little bit more damage in their composition.
That's right. Maybe something like Tychus, and HGC will be on Tychus, which we saw many times before. I think that's there's a very good chance to do the percent damage onto Diablo and Arthas.
Also worth mentioning that this double warrior pickup retroactively justifies their second ban Greymane, so pretty nice setup coming out from Raven. And they go with the Falstad as expected. So EZZ deciding that, okay, maybe I'll try to, auto attack a little bit more, try to make up for the lack of damage that Genji will be looking for his resets. So it will be very interesting to see Raven look to be a little bit stronger in this straight-up brawling team fight, but RR with the slight edge in when it comes to globals.
Yep, both sides got a very balanced map, not fully diving in for RR, and also not fully Raven from Raven either. And this is going to be a fierce match in game number 2 as RR already took a map off. Let's go to Battlefield of Eternity and see what happens. In blue, RRR, Odak on Genji, MSG on Rehgar, EZZ on Falstad, Kong on Dehaka, and take a look on Tyrael.
And in red, we see Raven with Darvish on Arthas, Hamilton on Illidan, NMX on his favorite Li Ming, DeYoung on Diablo, and Chom back on his Uther.
Okay, I think after this ban phase, grabbing Dehaka instead of Arthas, which could have been an easy pick against Illidan diving in. And also grabbing Falstad, it's telling us that they're not really scared of Illidan diving in all the time. They know that they can trust in each other, then they can also escape from all the damage, all the CCs. Because it's a 2-lane, the gank will be a little bit harder. It's easier to actually feel the gank coming in. You also have all your teammates next to you who can save you, so they have the confidence to draft like this against this comp of Raven. So let's see what happens here.
RR played the map admirably well in their last game, so I think we can expect great things to come out from the two heroes with the globals.
But as you say that, whenever you say something, the opposite happens. That's life.
A huge amount of damage goes on to Hamilton. He will be forced to drink from the well, so very good early gank coming out from EZZ. Her Falstad play has been absolutely flawless in the last game. And this game, she will probably be looking to prove why her last pick was saved for that Faustad.
Yep, that's right. There were lots of other options too. It seems like they need to wait until the late game to do so much damage. The double tank line in terms of Raven and Uther heals with their armor will even make them tankier. So the lack of damage, they do have wave clear gladly though, so they can soak up EXP pretty quickly. That's a good news for RRR, but when it comes to damage, I don't think they can get so many kills that quickly before 10.
Both teams slowly feeling each other out. In the center of the map, Faustad alone in the bottom lane. So if this situation continues, slight experience lead will be gained for RRR. Chom moving down into the bottom lane to soak the rest of the wave. So far, nothing happening.
Now they're going in with the damage. DeYoung charges in, and oftentimes this was a thing when they start to tilt and when things are not going in their way. DeYoung is the only one that dives in all the time, and he falls.
A bit of a premature pick attempt.
Yes.
Coming out from DeYoung, and Oduk clean dash to secure the kill. His Genji play has been very stellar in the last game. Looks to be that way in this game as well, and the race begins. Pretty predictable which way it's going to go though. And this is just chipping away at the shield before the Immortal spawns. Not a bad decision coming out from Raven.
Already an early charge in from DeYoung. That's not a good news for sure, because we've seen enough games. Ooh,
he does it again.
That was not the most. Okay, that was actually with the teammate, so that was not as bad. But whenever we saw him dying by diving in alone, of course they lost a lot of the games, but from that moment on, it snowballed against them pretty hard. So
DeYoung is such a tease, really. Sometimes he gets so clean picks, and that allows his team to get back into the game or solidify a lead. But at other times, he suddenly charges into 4 people for no reason, it seems. So, a player with high highs and low lows. But in this game, in the first game, really, he has been playing pretty well. In this game, not as well so far.
Only 4 minutes in, so let's wait a little bit more until he dives in a little more by himself.
Yeah, his game 1 was pretty good, better than yesterday. So, I am keeping high hopes for his play.
Right.
These two teams are going to trade siege camps. Pretty standard move coming out after the first Immortal phase.
But they're rotating all onto top. Maybe they're looking for the gang, and Illidan, I think.
No, Dehaka will be rotating to the bottom side of the map.
So they're just lane swapping for now because they had the game. They wanted to make this push a little bit further.
And this is really smart from RRR, taking advantage of the fact that they have access to their 2 globals early. They get to put on more structured pressure alongside their siege camps onto the top lane, whereas Raven have to move all of their members retroactively to defend it. So pretty smart coming out from RR. Now they will be looking to move slowly into the bottom lane and then towards their bruiser camp.
We will also get the wave clear. I think this is the reason why they brought in Dehaka for extra speed onto the wave clear. Also having that global is a big plus when they also have Falstad. Oftentimes we saw Falstad used for lots of disengages. When they make mistakes, they can cover it with just using on heroic just like that. Of course, it's a big resource, but if you can save the teammates, rather use it than to lose your friend.
So overall, RR has been justifying their draft so far with their play in this game. Raven will be looking to brawl, I believe. But the problem is that they have to send someone down to defend the Fallen Shaman. Is it the Fallen Shaman or the Lost Shaman? I always get confused.
Either one.
Either one. It's still a Shaman.
It's a Shaman from Diablo.
So Illidan moves down into the bottom lane. Will attempt to take care of the Shaman, but Oda goes into...
A lot of pressure going in actually into this fort.
This is really smart.
Falstad will be taking... Ooh, and meanwhile, take a look. they're spending every... Okay, they want to defend everything. This is a greedy move. They can get punished, but Raven is indecisive, and they cannot actually use this as their own chance.
RR are running circles around Raven right now.
Wow.
And it's not only due to their having the double global advantage, but overall, even the heroes that don't have globals are moving so much more intelligently compared to Raven. So RR looking like a much more disciplined, much more experienced team, despite them being the team to have come out of the open division. So huge props to the macro play they are putting on a display here tonight.
We've already seen lots of improvements in game number 1, and we're seeing even more in game number 2 as they're splitting all the globals all the time onto these both lanes.
The drag misses.
Misses for now, and not much. CC MSG comes in for the slow, and Odak will be doing some damage, but no, of course no kill with not so many follow-up CCs. But meanwhile, of course, Raven, they have to spend their time doing something else, not just running around the map.
Raven were looking for the level 10 all game, and once they have access to the hunt, they won't be as susceptible to the great rotations that RR have been making all game. So very soon they will feel relieved, but before level 10 comes out,
no isolation this time in his adaptation coming out. There's the Dragon Blade. Misses entirely. He's trying to look for targets now, but it's a little bit late. There's the Gus. Right after the drag, maybe they were trying to focus, but after a while, there's a hunt onto Regard though. MSG gets caught. Lots of CCs coming in. The damage is followed up with the Storm onto the back line. He's trying to sustain himself with the healing, but just not enough. That will be just one kill, but the Immortal actually goes to RRR in the meantime.
A very confusing sequence of heroics were used in that team fight from both teams. The APOC hitting nobody, the Sanctification and Dragon Blade being used for seemingly no reason, the Gust to save their teammates from the seemingly random team fights. I don't know, that was a bit of a clown fiesta.
There were lots of misses, but...
Yeah, but overall, RR managed to secure the Immortal. This Immortal may not take down the top fort, or will it? One more hit, one more hit. Okay, so it manages to not take down the top fort.
But with
Raven,
the global
good defense.
With the global of Falstad and Dehaga, that fort will be going down anytime soon.
So overall, RR has been playing much more better in this game so far. But Raven, they have managed to stay relatively equal in experience, and finally they have access to the hunt. And RRR, their coordination seemed to be not on point over the last team fight. So overall, Raven will be feeling quite confident. Now is their chance to start being more proactive in this game.
Yeah, that's right. And when Rhaegar was off position and they were trying to punish, starting with the hunt, doing tons of damage. There's the Divine Storm, but Ancestral connects onto Dekaluk. They want to turn this around with the Dragon Blade. Darvish seems like he'll be the first one to go. He's taking 3v1 on Odak, and come back stronger is what EZZ is saying after that Gust. One kill is enough because if they have more members, as they have both globals and the camp pushing the bottom lane, then this fort, of course, will be gone for sure.
Again, I am really impressed by how calm and collected RR seems to be in these fights. And a lot of it has to do, it seems, with EZZ's Falstad play, these Gusts. Very safe, very defensive, and, you know, that's probably what's needed for them to take down Raven. Raven, a team prone to making a lot of mistakes. RR used to be that kind of team too, but with their new attitude, I believe that they will have a much better chance going forward, and especially in this series. Looking very good.
I think that Gust was meant for something more, but I don't think it worked out perfectly.
Do you believe in the potential of that Gust? Was it destined for more?
I think she was actually trying to isolate one of Raven's member, but it did not work out as she planned. That's what I'm thinking right now as I'm replaying that moment in my head. Did not work perfectly, but Raven actually caught up pretty well, even though after losing all their members. Of course, only 2 members. There's a drag onto the Young, of course. Not too much damage because they do not have any percent damage, because Marthael was banned from the beginning of the draft. And no Tychus this time. Falstad, after that quest is finished though, he will get the power boost. That's near 16, maybe 17, because this is Maybe even later because this is a 2-lane map.
R definitely know what Raven wants to do. Raven, all they want to do is to start a team fight, but they're not giving it to them. Falstad is now finished dealing with the Shaman push that was going down on the top lane, and a team fight breaks out.
Here comes Kong. There was drag onto Leeming, but escapes. There's the APOC, but a very good sanctification along with the Ancestral. MSC is very low, but they are taking members down, and De Jong seems to be the first one. They are looking for their lives here.
That dash from Genji was not the best time, but still, they won't have too much of a problem going deeper into this team fight. The problem is that Leeming got a reset off onto Rrr.
Got a reset. Seems like Kong has no escape on himself. NMX is looking for more kills.
They have to go away, Diablo!
Oh.
They forgot at that. Diablo respond right away, so Falstad probably forgot about that. Odok, really nice solo kill onto Elvin. The beginning of that team fight looks so advantageous for RR. The sanctification was really nice. The Ancestral connected perfectly.
Right.
The Gust was used pretty much very well as well. They got the early pick onto Diablo, but Odok missed the dash reset onto Diablo, and they were a little bit too overeager in extending deeper into the team fight.
That's right, and MSG dived in along with his teammate. Actually, the healing and the armor from Uther came in on Arthas at the exact time when he was getting focused. So, and then after that moment, MSG was already caught and Leeming got the reset, so they turned it around, but great cleanse and also used the Gust here.
Great Gust. Divine Storm is now available, though. They have to be careful.
Tom is walking towards
the
it.
Storm.
Seems like it could be the perfect timing, but he actually does not use it. And NMX, this is a reset show. Hamlin goes in. Ooh, does not actually look for more kills than 2, but this will be... They can defend this easily, but it's very low, so they can't really put too much resources on the bottom. Yep, they're putting in 2 and 3 here.
They seem to be tunnel visioning on this Immortal way too much. RR has been gleaning advantages, small advantages through this game by playing a more conservative, more measured defensive style. And in the last 2 team fights, they have erred on the side of caution. They have not been able to... Oh, they got caught off again. This will surely mean the end of Genji. And I don't know why they are suddenly being so reckless 3 times in a row in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you see a low health Immortal, you want to go get it because it's so tempting. It's very, very tempting, but once you overstep and get a ton of damage like the orbs coming in just like that, NMX will get those resets and get more than just the 1 kill.
It feels like this will be finally the time where they manage to take down the Immortal.
Good
but
Ancestral.
at what cost?
Good Ancestral on ETC, there's the Gust, but they do get the Immortal if they can actually safely... They
Great
do
Gust.
at the very end.
Great Gust secures a safe escape for RR, but due to their repeated adventures in trying to take down the lower health Immortal, Raven have bridged the experience gap that was in RR's favor entirely. And I don't know if the last few minutes of series of events was the right choice for RR, but still, the Immortal is on their side, pushing towards Raven's top.
Yeah, with not so much shield, so I don't think they can even get through this entire wall because they have to be a little bit away as they're already looking for all the damage deflected by the deflect. Chom actually overextends, trying to Divine Storm. There is 0 follow-up. They're looking for more kills here. Darvish also in isolated position by himself, but barely sustains himself there.
So that was a wasted Divine Storm and an overextension from Chom. This may now turn into a keep that Raven very much could have defended had not for that overextension. So Raven responding to RR's series of mistakes with a huge blunder of their own, and now RR are solidly in the lead again.
That Uther play from Chom was not the most impressive. It was an impressive storm, but looking at the situation and where his teammates were,
This is the trap that a lot of decent players fall into on not so great teams. You know that a lot of the time, your team's destiny are sort of in your hands, in your ability to make that super play that you sometimes come out with.
Exactly.
So you feel pressured to make those kinds of big plays, but usually the reason why they are big plays is because they have a low chance of succeeding, and another team fight comes off
And here comes Kong, and Odog actually goes over the wall after the hunt. There's the drag, but great sanctification. They cannot do any damage onto all members. And NMX actually, Dehak actually dives in though. Kong will be the first one to actually get picked. That was a little bit late of a gust.
Oh, and Rrr gets picked off. This will surely be a kill now.
Almost, and seems like it can actually be a trade with Odog just slashing all the members of Raven right now. Cannot find a kill. Get a kill, gets a kill. There's a reset, 2.
Reset, 3.
And maybe 4. Not enough with the Uther heals coming out. And seems like Darvish actually went for more kills here.
So pretty much an equal trade by the time all is said and done. But wow, that team fight looks so... Oh, I don't know if this right move from Hamelin.
Onto Tyrio. Not sure, and DeYoung tries to do some more damage, but that's not going to be enough. And
very, very odd decision from Hamelin right there. If Hunt wasn't impossible to misclick, I would have said that was a misclick, but that clearly isn't the case. So I don't know, probably carried away in the heat of the moment, it seems.
Yeah, and also it seemed like Genji had deflect at the perfect time. Odog's Genji play has been pretty impressive for me. He cancelled all the damage by himself and really giving, which also gives the space for Rrr to heal someone else. So it's a double win for you. It's a win-win for your team if you can deflect and protect your teammate just like that.
Yeah, as you said, Odog's stellar Genji play has been one of the defining most strongest points of RR in this game so far, and I'm really glad to see the hard work that he put in Hero League for so many weeks finally start to pay off. DeYoung goes down into the Rrr again.
There's the hunt, and right after the gust, so Hamelin will be alone for now.
Good drag. Odog a little bit isolated, but manages to escape safely. So Oni really using the Dragon Blade and Gust. Sanctification still available. They are closer to level 20, but DeYoung hiding in a good spot. Gets the stun onto Tyrio. Nice cleanse.
Sanctification is well available, and then it is dropped, and they want to take this one around, and the Max seems to be the target. Gets healed, and DeYoung will fall because of that, or is he not going to?
So close, but gets the kill.
And then Max is looking for the kill. Does get the reset, but teleported out of there, and the Max will be very low. Does get taken out. All the damage is gone. Here comes the...
Level 20.
The hunt on from the other side, but not enough. Darvish is trying to do what he can, but against all the members of RRR without Falstad, seems like it's a very hard job for himself to actually sustain. He does live though.
Standard cleanup now coming out from RR. This should be game.
And that's 20. And this Immortal seems like Genji's already onto the core. It's not even needed. So it will actually go towards the bottom lane. It will just take more time. They are marching straight to the core now, and this will be game for sure.
Definitely, and well, I guess RR could make a last-minute series of mechanical mistakes, and perhaps Raven will be able to hold the core at 1% or something if they decide to BM at the core, but that's probably not going to happen. And I was very critical of Decalook in the last game. His Stitch's play was not impressive by any means, but on Tyrio, I don't think he made a single mistake that game except for that one very odd sanctification.
They look like a complete new team.
We see that couple high five there. Pretty sweet to see.
Lots of love there, and if you have love in your team, that's always a plus. And not for the other three maybe. So, but the role swap so far, and MSG of course overextended a little bit, sometimes got caught, but there was always the gust coming up from EZZ to secure, and actually it timed perfectly so that Illidan came in a little bit after the gust, and he was alone when he came in. He was focused, fired, and he had to back up right after. It worked out so perfectly for RRR that Falstad seems to be working so well. Maybe they can use it once more in game number 3.
So the stellar play coming out from EZZ on Falstad and Odog on Genji. These two have been constant in the last 2 games, and we really have to applaud our sudden decision to role swap at this point in the phase.
That's right.
Because both of these players who have moved into these new positions, they look so much better than their old heroes. Decalook on Tyrio looks to be so much better of a warrior than MSG or Kong has been, and conversely, MSG on Rrr. 2 very solid games. Aside from a few mechanical misplays, has been really solid, really consistent. Finally, RR is playing with a consistent and dependable support. So, Raven, not a lot of good things to say about them.
Yeah,
but
not a lot, but after you see DeYoung charging in at minute 2,
yeah.
and there goes the game. That was the thing, but they had some momentum. The hunt seemed to be working a lot, but it was just better because there were a lot of disengaged tools available for RR. But before game number 3, we will be taking a short break, so we'll see you guys soon.